Whoa, what's going on here?
Sir, come check this out.
What's going on here?
This plane is way off course.
Alright. Try and get in contact with the pilot.
On September 11th, 2001, 19 militants associated with the Islamic extremist group Al-Qaeda hijacked 4 airliners and carried out suicide attacks against targets in the United States. 2 of the planes were flown into the towers of the World Trade Center in New York City. A third plane hit the Pentagon just outside Washington, D.C., and the fourth plane crashed in a field in Pennsylvania. Often referred to as 9/11, the attacks resulted in extensive death and destruction, triggering major U.S. initiatives to combat terrorism and defining the presidency of George W. Bush. Over 3,000 people were killed during the attacks in New York City and Washington, D.C., including more than 400 police officers and firefighters.
What is up, Drum Alert Nation? I'm your host, Keller Keemstar. Let's go right into the news.
This just in. You're looking at a very disturbing live shot there of the World Trade Center. We have unconfirmed reports that the plane has just crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center. We don't know anything more than that at the moment. And we're back with dramatic pictures of an accident that has just happened a short time ago. You're looking at the Trade Center in Lower Manhattan, where just a few minutes ago we were told that a plane, some report that it was a small computer plane, crashed into the upper floors of one of the twin towers. You can see fire and flames. There's a gaping hole on the north side of the building. This was the center of a terrorist bombing a few years ago, so the questions have to be asked. Was this purely an accident? Or could this have been an intentional act? But either way, extensive damage has been done to this building.
On September 11th, 2001, at 8:45 a.m., on a clear Tuesday morning, an American Airlines Boeing 767 loaded with 20,000 gallons of jet fuel crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. The impact left a gaping burning hole near the 80th floor of the 110-story skyscraper, instantly killing hundreds of people and trapping hundreds more in higher floors. As evacuation of the tower and its twin got underway, television cameras broadcasted live images of what initially appeared to be a freak accident. Then, 18 minutes after the first plane hit, a second Boeing 767 United Airlines Flight 175 appeared out of the sky, turned sharply toward the World Trade Center, and sliced into the South Tower to the 60th floor. The collision caused a massive explosion that showered burning debris over the surrounding buildings and streets below. America was under attack.
Good afternoon, America. This is Felicia Brown with CNN, on the scene where a plane has just hit the World Trade Center. We're about to go walk on the street and ask some people a few questions about what they saw. Hello, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
What's your name?
My name's John Malone.
John, tell us your story. Where were you when it happened?
I was actually walking down past that motel when me and some guys, we saw a plane coming in overhead, and we saw it coming pretty low and pretty loud, and we looked up, and the next thing you know, it just hit straight into the building.
Can you describe the plane inch by inch as it approached the building?
We just saw a plane coming in. It sounded like it was really close, and living down here, you never really see planes that low or that loud. And the guy next to me says, it's gonna hit the Trade Center. And next thing you know, it just hit the Trade Center.
The attackers were Islamic terrorists from Saudi Arabia and several other Arab nations, reportedly financed by Saudi fugitive Osama bin Laden's Al-Qaeda terrorist organization. They were allegedly acting in retaliation for America's support of Israel, in involvement in the Persian Gulf War, and its continued military presence in the Middle East. Some of the terrorists had lived in the United States for more than a year and had taken flying lessons at American commercial flight schools. Others had slipped into the country in months before September 11th and acted as the muscle in the operation. The 19 terrorists easily smuggled box cutters and knives through the security at 3 East Coast airports and boarded 4 flights bound for California, chosen because the planes were loaded with fuel for the long transcontinental journey. Soon after takeoff, the terrorists commandeered the 4 planes and took the controls, transforming ordinary commuter planes into guided missiles.
Oh my god, there's another plane!
The third plane. As millions watched the events unfolding in New York, American Airlines Flight 77 circled over downtown Washington, D.C., and slammed into the west side of the Pentagon military headquarters at 9:45 a.m. Jet fuel from the Boeing 757 caused a devastating inferno that led to the structural collapse of a portion of the giant concrete building. All told, 125 military personnel and civilians were killed in the Pentagon, along with all 64 people aboard the airliner.
Another plane has just hit another building. It flew right into the middle of it. My god. This is another tower, ladies and gentlemen. Another explosion at tower number 2 at the World Trade Center. It just happened live on our air. And right now, yes, that definitely looks like it was on purpose. Now it's obvious. I think we have a terrorist act of proportions we cannot begin to imagine at this point.
The heroics of the fourth plane. Meanwhile, a fourth California-bound plane, United Flight 93, was hijacked about 40 minutes after leaving Newark International Airport in New Jersey. Because the plane had been delayed in taking off, passengers on board learned of the events in New York City and Washington via cell phone and airphone calls to the ground. Knowing that the aircraft was not returning to an airport as the hijackers claimed a group of passengers and flight attendants planned an insurrection, one of the passengers, Thomas Burnett Jr., told his wife over the phone that, "I know we're all going to die. There's 3 of us who are going to do something about it." The plane later crashed into a Pennsylvania field.
Good afternoon, America. This is Felicia Brown with CNN. I'm here today on the scene where a plane has just hit the World Trade Center. We're about to go ask some people some questions and see what they saw. If you could just follow me.
Shut the up!
God. This just in. You're looking at a very disturbing live shot of the World Trade Center. We have unconfirmed reports. Okay, read it. Aiden's all graceful. Oh my god, there's another plane!
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. Okay. For real. Okay. Stop. Just tell me when, okay?
Okay, you first close your eyes and you go to bed.
Okay, go to bed. I'm tired.
It'll be fine. We should start recording this. We can add this into the bloopers.
Did I do it right?
No!
Funny.
What do you say now?
To tell you now!
I know you were taking forever.
On September 11th, 2001, 19 militants associated with the Islamic extremist group Al-Qaeda hijacked 4 airliners and carried out suicide attacks against targets in the United States. 2 of the planes were The attackers were Islamic. As millions of military personnel International Airport in New York 2000
We'll be right back.